And tomorrow it is at the Perez Dome. I mean, we know Perez Dome is located within the Perez Chapel, and it's located in Jowulu here in Accra, just around the railway tracks around Jowulu. Please make sure you pick the tickets, 50 Ghana cedis, the front desk of Joy FM and other multimedia group or subsidiary outlets. And please make sure that you enjoy all those great renditions and the music that is going to be channeled by the lead artists and those participating in Adum Praise 2017. But talking about that, today's your birthday. Alberta Na Kai Osang, you live in East Legon. You work also at the Lekman Hospital Accounts Office. And this one is coming from Mrs. Jemima Quadison. So please do enjoy your birthday. Your lunch is on them. So never worry at all. But Mama V is ready.
Where did you get the notion, Roland Walker, that every birthday must come with lunch?
We're still in the pink month.
So have you checked your breast today?
Creating a lot.
Did you prompt your wife to check her breast today?
I did that
no,
on
you
Monday.
Haven't.
I did that on Monday evening, yes.
Okay. Well, the whole idea of rocking this is to remind you that we're in the month where we create a lot of awareness for breast cancer. And one of the questions that I'll be asking every morning is, have you felt your breast today?
Oh, you just have to feel it within, you feel it within a certain period.
Don't take it Roland's way, take it my way. Time for us to do the newspaper.
This is supposed to be done every day.
You're welcome to send us messages as well here on the show. But let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the graphic, no more wasteful spending. Finance Minister cautions MMDAs. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Also, Flagstaff House, Parliament to go solar. Ashidi moves to Telecoms Chamber CEO from November 1. But I guess until now, as in effective today, he's still the boss at the Graphic Group Communications, right? Or Graphic Communications Group. And then effective November 1, he's the CEO of the Telecoms Chamber. He's moving on, really. Ministry to settle standoff between pharmaceutical companies and GlaxoSmithKline. Roland, you remember this issue that you thought it wasn't such a big deal. I'm happy that it's getting the attention of the Trades Minister, and there will be a result.
We love controversy.
Standoff.
I said there was nothing wrong really with that,
but let's start off with page 3 in the graphic, yes, on this issue about the Finance Minister's caution there. Story says Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has stated that the government will crack down on corruption and wasteful spending or public spending in the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. And okay, so this is part of a concerted effort to ensure good governance. In a speech read on his behalf at the Northern Regional launch of the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System in Tamale last Tuesday, Mr. Ofori-Atta said the crackdown on corruption was consistent with the government's effort to create a more business-friendly environment for investors and better opportunities for the people. Details of all of that in the paper. I'm interested in Parliament and Flagstaff House going solar. Remember sometime, was it last year when Parliament went off, when it was doom cry in Parliament? If they get onto solar, they will not be experiencing any of such. Beginning from next year, the Flagstaff House, Parliament House, and other important state institutions will be provided with electricity from solar sources. The Minister of Energy, Mr. Boachi Ejako, has said, he told Parliament last Tuesday night that the move was to reduce the load on the national grid, reduce government expenses on electricity, and send the right signal that solar energy was the right way to go. But we're told that solar is not also cheap, at least in the initial stages.
The initial investment layout, yes, makes it quite steep. But ultimately, over the span of the years to come and the facility in itself, it's very cheap.
So I guess that's the way to go for us individuals as well.
Well, ideally, for example, in countries elsewhere, I know somebody who lived in Germany and consistently told me that, for example, I think where they lived in their community, we were talking big places, they even sold power onto the national grid. Yeah, sold power. You know,
so they produce more than they could use.
They could use, and then they put the rest on the grid.
Yeah, I hear we'll get there very soon.
And somehow they got,
even with what we produce, because we can't.
Where? Only Accra or where?
I don't know. That's what I heard.
Assistant.
Let's talk about Ken just a bit. The boss at the Graphic, who is moving on to the Telecoms Chamber. The Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has announced the appointment of Mr. Kenneth Ashigbe as Chief Executive Officer. He assumes duty on November 1, 2017. Mr. Ashigbe will join the Chamber from the Graphic Communications Group Limited, where he has been the Managing Director. He was previously the CEO of Optimum Media Prime, and also worked as Chief Executive Officer here at the Multimedia Group Limited. He's moving on from the Daily Graphic or from the Graphic Communications Group and moving on to the Telecoms Chamber. We wish him well. We all know some of the transformations that he brought to the group, the Graphic. At least we saw that reflect in the many outdoor events that they did.
And even the
newspaper, their main newspaper, the Graphic as well. So we wish him
the
well.
Newspaper,
he's a fantastic gentleman, and he's amazing. We know that he'll bring a lot of changes to the Telecoms Chamber as well. Yeah. There's this story, Roland, in page 52. Police administration issues guidelines on police station. It's for all those desiring to construct facilities for the service to be used as police stations. We know that a lot of the estates these days come with police stations,
or even communities do construct.
So you can just look at the details in the Graphic.
So there are guidelines.
This one, there are guidelines apparently. So let me see. This is a statement signed by the Director General of Public Affairs, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. David Eklu. So individuals and organizations supporting the police should first secure a land with the necessary documentation to establish that the area acquired was earmarked for a police station. Do we already have those?
No. Well, the thing is that I'm not sure the lands that they are acquired or that are acquired are earmarked for the police station. In every community, there's supposed to be a land earmarked for a police station. So that when and for other public facilities, it could be a park or a sports arena or something like that, or a market, etc. So when you want to build, you have to go seek permission, so that you don't tend to do the outlay and trying to find out whether the land is located appropriately.
It could even be a road. Okay,
and so that's how come we've had many places demolished in some respect to put up some of those.
So this is where we are. Elsewhere, we know that like individuals would not be worrying about police stations.
No.
Yeah, but
actually
this is where
elsewhere,
we are, so.
even if you want to have an extension on your window, you can't unless you go for city authority permits.
So as it
but for us, once you have your house walled, I'm sure you can do whatever it is that you want to do.
Let's quickly look at the back page of the
That's how
Graphic.
irregular and unregulated our system is.
Yeah, except you find yourself in one of those strict estates.
But that's an estate. It belongs to an individual or let's say a company. We're talking about the state regulation.
But Roland, you see, it's interesting. The state is bigger, powerful than the individual real estate developer. If that person is able to put restrictions and ensure that people go according to what at least he thinks is right, don't raise your wall to this level. If I plant trees, I only need a certain kind of trees. Don't cut my trees down, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They demarcate places for a park, blah, blah, blah. A whole
But that's
government.
the estate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But government
that's
is
why
more
those of us who buy the normal
and they can't do that.
The normal plot. You see that you've built your nice house. Somebody has built some ramshackle. Or there's a kiosk somewhere, so you come to your community. It's a
shame.
You have maybe open drain, whilst you have a closed drain. You have, sometimes.
This will introduce us into a whole other world of government doesn't control land. So let's just move on, shall we? Back page quickly, and then we'll get into other newspapers. Back page of the Daily Graphic: Olympics beats Bolga All Stars. Sharks devour Tema Youth. These are the headlines. Sports, but Benedict will be here to give us plenty sports stories right after the newspaper. So let's dig into the Ghanaian Times. Roland will bring us the details of the paper, the Times.
So we have the Ghanaian Times, and on the front page, Mamavi, we have Galamsey fight won't stop. We will continue to the end. And Dudan Kwekufado seems to be saying he's the president of the Republic.
I like the fact that he keeps drumming this, into our ears. He keeps hammering on it. You remember his job is on the line as well.
Well, not now. I think he has a good way.
No, but he's already said it.
Well.
But he continuously says it. that's somebody who's determined to see the end of this.
Well, true. So we have other stories. There are tons of cassava rotten at Bodjase. And then we have Kodie police hand for suspected ritual murderers. And soldier dies in freak accident in Kumasi. That story is on page 3. In Tamale, okay. It says that a military man was found dead in the early hours of yesterday at the Nobisco Junction in Kumasi, in Tamale. I don't know why I keep seeing T and saying K. He's believed to have been involved in a motor accident that occurred at the junction in the night. And this was reported by Mohammed Yusuf Tanko, commented on in that report. On the back page, though, we have only Trash Bolga All-Stars. Adriana maintained lead after beating Wafa Doma, but leading the Ghana Premier League table is Adriana Stars with 51 points, Wafa with some 47 points. With 44 points is Accra House of Folk, and while All Stars has 39. Kumasi and Tekotoko, my team, were 39 points. All right? So those are the stories we have.
All right, let's continue from the Times to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the paper. Judges and magistrates caution President Akufo-Addo, improve our poor conditions of service, or else we'll touch into the details of that story. Really, that's the story we'll pick in the paper. So let's continue on the back page. It says Chief Justice Sophia Akufo has described the current budgetary allocation to the judiciary by government as woefully inadequate. She said the meager amounts is not even released on time by the executive arm of government, which puts a lot of pressure on the judiciary. Justice Akufo added that there must be a total relook at funding for the judiciary in line with Article 127 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. She was delivering keynote address at the 37th annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana held at the La Palm Beach Hotel. It was under the theme, Judiciary, Bastion of Democracy. Okay, so a lot more details of that. We brought you also some news in our AM News, and of course we'll definitely find someone online as well. But that's the story we'll pick from the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Roland?
All right, so we have the Daily Guide newspaper. It has on the front page, Mahama rejects NDC gurus. Again, the alleged...
Kwesi Butcher reports.
Kwesi Butcher report, so you can find it there. It says Kwesi Butcher report.
So
we speak to leading personalities of the NDC. They say they haven't seen the report.
But apparently the Daily Guide has
the Daily Guide says...
And they're dishing it to us.
But I'm saying that, but I keep saying that all these things that they are saying are things that when you speak to, it's just...
But is it in the document or not?
We don't know the documents. That's what I'm saying. All right. Okay, so, the Daily Guy, I love this paper. It said, the John Dramani Mahama presidency schemed for Kofi Potofie and Kofi Adams to become national chairman and organizer, respectively, of the party, a factor the Kwesi Butcher committee claims contributed to the disastrous defeat of the party. Immediately that was done, the party's machinery collapsed and never recovered, according to the Professor Kwesi Butcher committee that investigated why the NDC embarrassingly lost the December 7, 2016 general elections. And he says the 65-page executive summary of the 455-page report says with the election of the two leading officers, the party's hierarchy became sycophantic. Okay, so now listen, they are quoting from the executive summary. Whilst they are not, so they are not saying they are quoting from the report itself. They say this one, it says, but anyway. It says Kofi Adams and Potofie were beneficiaries of the presidency machination during the Kumasi Congress to elect them. It's also and that's on page 27, Mama. On page 28 of
this is of what the report?
No, executive summary.
But
but
they shared executive summary.
Executive summary is
okay.
So it says it states on page 28 that after the party congress in Kumasi, the party hierarchy collapsed, saying party hierarchy became sycophantic in its relationship with the government. And already we know that Mr. Yabwatinjan, a former organizer, okay, announced that he was staging a comeback for the position he lost.
Listen, but is the NDC itself learning from, are they working with this report? Are they learning any lessons?
I hear they are going on a healing tour. That's what George Lowe confirmed yesterday. So
on a healing tour?
Yes. So it's based on, so all the activities they're undertaking is part of the healing
The
process.
Recommendations from the
So they are using somehow maybe the summary of the executive report.
What, they were wounded? The defeat is like that?
Yeah, the defeat is huge. Almost 54.
It feels like you've been wounded.
Yeah, you lose a big election.
Okay.
I'm not sure they thought they would lose elections.
All right. Let's do the Business and Financial Times. If you're curious, well, the Daily Guide has got the details of that story. It's incredible that Roland didn't go to the center spread of the paper. He was caught up in the Kwesi Butcher reports. Front page of the BNFT, the Business and Financial Times. One district, one factory, 165 factories ready for rollouts. That's coming from one of the deputy trades ministers. Ahom Kalin details of that. Bank of Ghana encourages M&As among banks as FBN Bank opens head office. Government to access $2 billion Indian energy credits. Also in the newspaper, alien manufacturing sector healing grows by 6.6%, first time in 5 years. It says figures released by the Ghana Statistical Service have shown that the once ailing and abysmally performing manufacturing sector is showing signs of revival as it's recorded a 6.6% growth in Q2 of 2017 from the 5.9% in Q1. All right, but we know that also the power situation affected the manufacturing sector really hard. Back page of the BNFT, driving made fun. Vivo Energy Ghana launches Shell Motorist app. Technology-driven banking must come with efficient customer care. That's according to the MD of Energy Bank. And GCB celebrates customer service in style. I've got to acknowledge some of the, what's the name of this? Enterprise Insurance. That's one organization that kind of keeps you in mind. Whatever they're doing in terms of customer care, I think is working on me. I kind of feel something when it's a special occasion, like it's your birthday, and you get a text message.
Oh, you got some recently?
Yeah. And no, not even recently. I mean, they keep doing it.
I think they did. Was there an event an occasion?
No, this wasn't the holiday. There was a holiday.
Wow,
like
so
on holidays, for instance, they would send you
a message,
like
your birthday,
you know, and your birthday they would send you. I don't know. I like those things. Yeah. It's just like Medifin. You know, they would send you messages if it's your child's birthday because you know they were born there. They've got all the details and they would send. I feel like even if you're not thinking about me, just the text that you've sent.
Cry alone is killing you.
Yeah. So thank you, Enterprise.
That's what we call customer relationship management.
Yeah.
Right? All right.
Okay, so I'm done with the Business and Financial Times. We'll probably pick the Business Finder and then we'll do online real quick.
Right. So please do the business.
Why Business Finder?
Sometimes I don't see their stories.
My family.
The way they put the two together.
The Business and Financial Times newspaper is one of the best newspapers, by the way. I enjoy
one of the best newspapers, the Daily Guide.
And then, you know, on Thursdays, the Finder turns business. So it's Business Finder on Thursdays. But on any other day, it's the Finder newspaper. And, you know, most of the time, we've got exclusive stories. Demand value for money on all development projects, according to the World Bank. Ghanaians must insist on value for money on all development projects across the country in order to achieve Ghana's overall development agenda. The World Bank office in Accra has urged, and the paper carries the details of that. ECG Rampus barred for concessionaire. 2-year ban killing our businesses. I'll leave the details for you to dig in. It's all in the Finder newspaper. Today. We're going to go to myjoyonline.com in a bit, but we also have your messages. So from Jolalian Nyuvo, Savior Avesco says, I celebrate all teachers today. My Keta Anglo State Basic School teachers, Ketasco's teachers, Akachi College of Teachers, University of Education Winneba, lecturers of mathematics, SHS teachers, Avadapa. where I'm teaching currently. You have to pay me for what
Charlie,
is that?
every time you send a Jolalian, they'll be giving you a lot of shout-outs.
But thanks for the message. It's good you brought the subject of teachers because we're discussing teachers today. We're looking at teachers in terms of the profession. We're talking about some of the things that have come up recently as well. So more details.
But it's also because across the world, today has been dedicated to celebrate teachers. So it's World Teachers Day. So we're celebrating teachers, not talking about all the negatives that we tend to report about, because the media incessantly will be reporting about the poor schools that they're teaching.
That's not fair.
When they want to go on strike for better salaries, and sometimes the way perhaps they are not constantly in class. But let's look at what motivates teachers to be who they are.
Yeah.
Because all of us, we were made by teachers.
Yeah. Yes, somebody who's not happy though, he's a teacher, Abdullah Tamale, says, I'm sure teachers who voted for this government because of their salary arrears will blame themselves. I will never vote again. That's fair. Why Abdullah in Tamale? It's not a good thing to say you will never vote again.
It's your right and responsibility.
This one says, Dumso is back at Etiwa in the eastern region. Mr. Minister, please give us light. Nanaba from Kwabing is sending this message. This one says, it does not appear that we Ghanaians are prepared to contribute our quota towards making the country work. Otherwise, what is all this hullabaloo about the sanctions brought to bear on defaulting radio stations, some of which have defaulted for over a decade? If we think we can allow business as usual and yet see Ghana become a paradise, then we can forget it. It's from Raymond Osafojani in Kwewutafo. I hope I said it in your tone, by the way. Send us messages if you've got something to tell us. Let's do myjoyonline.com. This is our home. There's some analysis here. Bank of Ghana to keep policy rate above 20% into next year due to nagging inflation. You can read the details on our page, myjoyonline.com. Also on the page this morning, you'll find new rent bill will bring sanity to housing industry. Government urges MPs support. Pool suit over $400 million for ECG facelift could be lost. The coalition of stakeholders on the Electricity Company of Ghana concession agreement has warned Ghana runs the risk of missing out on the $498.2 million Millennium Challenge Fund. Minority MP counters government on affordable housing claim. You might want to check out exactly what he says.
What's happening to the
Chiefs in Eastern Region
you know the
housing to sanction parents denying children education? Very important story. Roland, yes? Yeah.
You know that housing so-called affordable housing project on the Saglinya Road.
Saglinya is close to where? Give me Ghana direction.
After the mutual, you know that road? The Brazilians came to.
I know that when Atasia took over in the very early stages, he went on a tour of some of the facilities. He wanted to appreciate the levels where the buildings had gotten to, and he promised they were going to finish it.
All right.
So I'm not sure if this particular one that you're mentioning was part of the places.
Could be.
Yeah. But it's not a bad idea for us to check all those buildings to see if work is actually underway. Let's move on. Chiefs, I think I've done this. Chiefs in Eastern Region Community to sanction parent denying children from going to school. Campaign tackles baby killing ritual in Nigeria. David and his twin sister have been branded evil by his community, which is a village on the outskirts of the Nigerian capital, Abuja. It'll be interesting to read this in detail. Acknowledge Mahama's achievement, minority to Akufo-Addo. Delay in distribution of chemicals hampered armyworm fight, according to the Greek minister. He's identified delays in distribution of chemicals as a key challenge that hampered effort to deal with fall armyworm invasion.
All right, so we have, let's look at City FM quickly.
No, I want us to spend time. So I know Gomez won't give us a lot more time. So let's straight away go to Theresa May.
Theresa May. No. And this one, BBC.
Okay. So I'm sure you've heard by now that the British Prime Minister was delivering a speech, and then she was interrupted. By
a prankster.
Exactly, a comedian. And then afterwards, she kept coughing and, you know, things like that. We want to show you, we actually want to play back that experience to you.
Prepare for a run on the ground. Some people say we've spent too much time talking about Jeremy Corbyn's past. You may not have heard me say that. So some people say we've spent too much time talking about Jeremy Corbyn's past. So,
as if the a protester is now being led out of the hall, a protester that actually managed to get to Theresa May and hand over what looked like a P45. Obviously, that has completely interrupted Theresa May's conference speech here in Manchester. And actually, he was led out by security guards and also to jeers from the audience there. Theresa May hasn't said anything yet so far about it. She does need to reference what happened.
This could be her saving moment now. I'm telling you. I was about to talk about somebody I'd like to give a P45 to, and that's Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah. One of the things we'll share with you later on was how it was difficult to continue, but she actually did end the speech because she kept coughing. And you know the person who interrupted apparently is a comedian.
Yes.
And he said Boris Johnson asked him to do that. But you know in Ghana, Charlie, you wouldn't get that close.
Actually, when you get that close, they will beat you to pulp. The security will match it.
Let's see if you
it's only in Ghana, all our security people are macho people. In the US, they are very lean people. But they have a lot of brains.
Let's quickly
They use their brains to fight.
Roland, take us through.
Jackie Chan is a very short man. Anyway, 3 US soldiers killed in Niger ambush. And they were said to have been attacked during a routine patrol with Nigerian troops near the border with Mali.
Yeah, others also have been wounded in the same attack.
Yeah.
Togo president gets final warning. 16 die after boat hits tree stump. But we know that the protest in Togo is still very much on.
Yes, it's still on.
Yeah.
The protest up to yesterday, they had massed up around one of the coastal areas in Lomé, and they were addressed by the opposition.
Yeah.
And then also, if the elections are successful in Liberia, we'll have the first transition of a government in about 30, 40 years to the other.
Yeah.
One of the main contestants, I know, and then the other, of course, George Weah also is in the middle there. Has contested before, so we'll see how that goes.
I was just going to say that, you know, the Togo situation seemed to be moving from let us get a constitutional term limit to the presidency to now foreigners who may leave. You know, it looks like we're...
But the thing is
we
that...
hope it doesn't get violent.
They can only succeed if they have the numbers. I'm not sure they have all the numbers.
All right, so lots of messages coming in for teachers. That's why we have a conversation today on that.
And it's also because today has been dedicated around the world to mark teachers and the work they do, and instead of us focusing on only the negatives, etc., we want to talk about the positives and how teachers impact lives and sometimes the trouble they go through to make sure that they work.
Christiana Daipoko is our guest later on this morning. Some messages coming through with relation to the NCA. NCA is violating our democracy and freedom of speech. We want Muncie Gold back. But that's why Judge Ander is also on the show this morning with Roland on AM Talk. So that will be one of the conversations that, you know, will be coming out. So just stay right there. Benedict is up next right now, though.
Yes, he is coming out with the latest news stories. And please do stick and stay. We'll be right back.